Follow us on Twitter at 90s Percentile. And if you'd like more content from We Studios, check us out at weepodcast.com, WEE podcast.com, where you can find our Simpsons podcast, Worst Episode Ever, and our movie commentary series, Sync Points.
And if you want to support the show, you can help us out by clicking our Amazon links. That's at weepodcast.com. You click the links and shop like you normally would, and we get a small percentage.
Thanks, guys.
On the clock and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Dan.
My name is Jack. Today's guest is Gabe Pulliam. How's it going, Gabe?
Good.
And our first topic, again, is this show, which,
yes.
Depending on the run of the production...
Production code, this is number 2.
Yeah, this is our second test show.
Yeah.
We're not sure where this is going to play out in the final run of when we release in January.
Right. If you're listening to this, it was released,
Yeah.
and you know where it is, but right now, as we're recording, we have no idea.
We don't know if this will be a canon episode, or again, we're really, right now, we're just trying to figure out the format. So, that being said, what is our format?
Our format is 90s suggestions. We're taking them from listeners. We have some already.
And we'll let you guys know, or we already have let you know. If you want to suggest it, we please do.
Yeah, we presumably by now have a website. It's somewhere in this episode if we have released this to the public. And there'll be a way to submit a 90s topic. It can be anything that has to do with the 90s. We're going to generate them randomly from your list, and we're just going to talk, and we're just going to go.
And we'll let the conversation go wherever it goes.
And that's how it goes.
It could go outside of the 90s, it could stay in the 90s, whatever.
Forward in time, backward in time. We're really a time travel podcast.
We could be dead, and it could be our post-heaven, our post-season 6 Lost.
Yeah.
Also, if you listen to our other podcast, Worst Episode Ever, a Simpsons podcast, you might know our famous catchphrase, cut all this.
Yeah, which we do not do here.
We do not do. This is live to
live
card.
to tape. Live to card. There you go.
Live to card. We're not cutting. We're doing this for 60 minutes. We have a giant digital timer ticking behind Gabe's head, 24 style.
We're almost at 2 minutes already.
Yeah, so we
time's a wasting, Jack.
Yeah, I know. Well, we normally won't be doing this introduction. But yeah, no, we're talking. We're not cutting anything.
No.
The windows open at We Studios.
Yeah, so you might hear police sirens, airplanes, helicopters,
Cloverfield
Godzilla,
monsters.
Yeah.
We both
it's interesting. We both went with monsters.
That's obviously after sirens and helicopters.
Yeah, of course. The next
giant
thing,
monsters
the next
are
level.
So yeah, hopefully you guys catch on with the format, and thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting We Studios. And who knows when this will actually run in the final array of episodes.
But enough about us.
Enough about us.
Let's just have us talk.
So we have a random topic generator that
yes.
I don't know if we're going to come up with a name for this. Originally, my idea was we would pull it from a hat manually, and I was going to call them hat topics instead of hot topics.
Like scenes from a hat.
But you created this great digital random topic generator. I don't know if there's a name there. Maybe we'll have one by the time this comes out.
Great randomizo. That's probably not it.
It's not bad.
The not so great randomizo.
That's it.
All right. Yes.
Perfect. Not so great randomizer.
All right, so here we go. We're ready for our first topic.
Our first topic.
So here we go. Not so great randomizo, and our topic is it's a good one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the topic. The action figures, yes.
I know. Yeah,
we're both looking. Yeah.
It's Ninja Turtles
live today.
No, because again, we probably said this in the print too with the topic suggestions.
Yeah.
It can be broad, it can be specific. You can give us Seinfeld, or you can give us Soup Nazi. We're cool with both. Those are two entirely different conversations.
But don't give us Sign Nazi because it doesn't exist.
I'm assuming it's the Nazi who was next to Hitler when he would give those passionate speeches doing sign language for the deaf Nazis.
That's funny. I thought of like a guy holding up a sign, like he's holding up the swastika flag next to Hitler.
No, I'm picturing
it's tough being the sign guy.
I'm picturing the sign language person who is
interpreting the speeches. The very impassioned speeches.
Using the sign for Jews a lot. Live to card, folks. So as opposed to the generic Ninja Turtles topic, which we could probably talk several episodes about.
Yes.
This is the Ninja Turtles action figures. Am I safe to say, boys, that all three of us grew up with some Ninja Turtles action figures?
Yes,
absolutely,
indeed.
Absolutely.
And here's the question for the group: who had all four Ninja Turtles, all four of the figures, at the same time? Because I did not. I definitely did not.
Okay, so
they would kind of cycle through, and I would have a Leonardo and a Michelangelo, but I never once in my life had all four of them together.
Now wait a minute. This raises questions for me.
This raises several. Yeah.
First of all, Where were your Ninja Turtles figures going that they're cycling in and out of your life?
That's a good question. And here's what would happen. It would always be the Airbnb. Take a trip, Brussels for the weekend.
Leonardo's like, I'm out of here. See you guys.
No, but I found especially at that age, there's a big churn in your toys. They get lent out, they get left in the sandbox. They get they kind of vanish, and so it's kind of they come and go a lot. So it was never it was not a fixed constellation.
See, I didn't have friends, so
I also had 3 brothers, and kind of all doing this. So when it all came together, it was nothing stuck around.
There was no rotation. Mine were all in one big plastic container. Yeah. So some would get lost on the bottom of that container, but I never shared.
There was some sort of vortex.
They were down there. They all were missing their pieces. I had tons of those brown belts that came with all of the Ninja Turtles. I'm pretty sure I had all 4.
All 4 of the basic classic.
This is what I was going to say.
You guys are making me think I'm a control freak because I didn't let anyone fucking touch my action figures. Okay. I didn't loan them out.
No, mine were in a loose. They were all in a bin, thrown together. That's why they weren't organized.
Yeah.
All the weapons were scattered about on the bottom. I had tons of little slices of plastic pizza.
Right.
They were all naked. All their accessories all
there was
fell
that
off
brown piece of plastic that you had to snap all the same weapons out.
I kept that. I kept that. I used it as a sled.
You might need it.
Yeah, that was the Ninja Turtles. They all had a sled.
Rack
They also had the early ones had those they were knee pads and the elbow pads that would kind of pop off a little bit too, and those would always sort of get lost as well. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't remember those.
I don't know that they were supposed to come off, but they always ended up
Yeah.
Anyway, so there was the original first wave of Ninja Turtles.
This was my next question.
Yeah, they were the little scrawny ones.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I had all 4, maybe not, but the reason I don't really remember is because I didn't like using them. I used there was another one that came out a year or 2 later.
There were several waves.
Yeah. There was one where they were mutagens or something like that they were called, and they were regular turtles, and you could flip them around
they were
Transformers.
Right.
Yep,
and you would turn them into Ninja Turtles.
Oh, now he's looked really
they were
husky.
bulkier. Yeah, they were husky and bulky.
Raphael, you've been eating a little too much pizza today.
Well, I use those as my primary turtles because I just like the feel, the weight.
Right.
They're
tiny heads.
Yeah, I thought the other ones were too scrawny. So I actually used those mutagen ones, and I'm pretty sure I had all 4 of those.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I had an obscene amount of Ninja Turtles
Okay,
figures.
all right. I'd say out of all my action figures, those were probably the ones I had the most of.
Yeah. So the first wave of Ninja Turtles figures, I don't actually think they came out in the 90s. Maybe they did. I think it was 87. No, it couldn't have been. It might have been 89 or something, somewhere around that. But you had the 4 turtles, Raphael, Leonardo. I don't need to tell you the turtles. You guys all know. Donatello, oh my god.
You started
it. You can't go half turtle.
This was pre that weird live action show where there was the Chinese Ninja Turtle, Venus de Milo. Yeah.
Wait, she was Chinese?
I believe.
I didn't know she was Chinese.
I believe that was the distinction. Because the turtles are, or at least Splinter is Japanese.
Right.
And she was from China. I'm pretty sure.
All their Italian names, living in New York. It makes a lot of sense, kids, if you think about it.
I'm so glad. This is a slight off topic. I'm glad that the turtles came back. It seemed for a while, when I was say 15, 16. I would babysit or play with little kids on the block sometimes, and they had no idea who the turtles were. It was
they're huge right now.
Yeah,
Nickelodeon.
and
they're back.
and it looked like it was just going to be all right. That was our thing, and kids from now on won't be Turtles fans. And then they did come back. Yeah,
it's interesting that you say that because they've come back again.
Several times. Yeah,
they came back. Well, I guess they came back for that Power Rangers kind of rip-off show where Venus de Milo came from, the live-action one. That didn't do so well.
Right.
But then they did the 2003 animated series, which was kind of more action-focused, less of a comedic series.
I plan to watch that at some point. I heard the crossover. There's a crossover.
That was the series finale of that series. They cross over with the 87 Turtles, the ones that we all grew up with. And it's pretty fun, actually. It's a good.
It seemed like I watched a few episodes. I caught a few episodes on TV. It was Michelangelo was fighting a garbage man supervillain or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but then now there is the computer animated one, which is the new. The new Nickelodeon show, and there's also the Michael Bay produced movie, which...
Oh, I absolutely forgot about it. It just came out last summer.
I saw it.
Surprisingly a big deal.
I like Michael Bay movies. I have a guilty pleasure for them. They're watchable for me. Mm-hmm. I was a little disappointed with this one, except there was a couple of key cool... There's a really great climax. The climax of the movie is a 18-wheeler truck sliding down this like infinite mountain slope, and it was a really cool action sequence.
But I want to bring us back to Ninja Turtles figures.
Of course.
And I was explaining the first wave of the Ninja Turtles figures. You had the 4 Turtles, you had Splinter, April, Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady, and Krang, and that was it.
Okay.
And I had all of them except for April and Splinter, I think.
Wow. You know, I never once...
I put my parents through a lot of hell for my toys, I think, just so I would have I need all of the Turtles!
I had several waves of Turtles. Very, very random. I didn't know what... You know, I would just get whatever my parents picked on the store. They didn't really know. I never once in my entire run of owning action figures had an April.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
What does that say about us, guys? April can't be part of the boys.
I did have, and I mentioned this on our Simpsons podcast at one point early on. I did have the boss, was it Vern?
No,
yeah.
Vern was like the buddy, kind of, right? Like the camera guy.
He was the camera guy, played by Will Arnett in the movie, which was weird.
It makes sense if you see the movie. He's actually.
I did see the movie. I hated it, but that's besides the point.
Boss was the big fat dude, right?
And that's what I was gonna say. His action figure, he's like his shirt's untucked. He has toilet paper stuck to his shoe. He has a big sandwich in his hand. Like they really went out of their way. Like look at this fat slop, and that was his identity. It's like, what do you do with this
toy?
Yeah, what do you do with the toy? Because he's just like. He's like, hold, I gotta put this sandwich down, but I can't.
So I just Googled April's Boss toy, and it was the number 36 on Crack's list of the worst action figures from iconic toy lines. His name was,
Whoopi Goldberg
Burn.
in the movie. Burn. So you had Vernon and Burn.
Vernon and Burn. No wonder you got confused. And you can see the picture of him.
That's what I had.
This is a terrible action figure.
That's what I had.
We'll put the picture somewhere,
he's
maybe.
mid-bite. There's like food, and he looks like a hamster.
Yeah, he looks horrible. This is not an action figure.
Like the idea of an action
mileage.
figure of like kung fu grip and adjustable weapons is that you can make them role play in whatever
different
your
scenes.
imagination.
In this scene, he's always chewing a sandwich.
He's like permanently.
There's no other scene for Burn. He is perpetually sandwich eating.
All right, so my run of Turtles, I guess I started a little later because when I first started getting them, they were the ones that weren't in that first wave.
Right.
So I want to say Michelangelo was my first Turtle, and I just got that, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it felt like months. Who knows? I was 5, 6. It was probably just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I just had the one Turtle. I was like, what the hell do I do with this one Turtle? But then for my birthday, some aunt or like a godmother, someone not super close, bought me like a dozen toys, and it was
nice.
it was just like holy shit. So I opened them all up, and the thing was they were all secondary characters. There was no turtles. There was no major villains. So now for again, it feels like it was months, years. I don't know what. Maybe until Christmas. My birthday's in June. But for it felt like a longest time, I had to play with Michelangelo, and then it was like Baxter the Fly.
Yep.
And
that was a great figure, Baxter the Fly.
It was so cool looking.
Yeah.
But it was all random characters like that, and I had to kind of come up with I had like a whole backstory in my head, like, the other turtles are, what were we saying? They were
they're in Brussels.
Yeah, they're in Brussels. That's basically what I had to do, where like they were permanently kidnapped, and Michelangelo had to free them one by one, and then when I finally got my Raph and my Leo, that's what I did. But I always remember this like Bonanza. It was like the first time I was old enough to appreciate.
You had Bonanza action figures too?
I had
Haas and Big Joe?
No, so it was so cool to get all these action figures at once, and then opening them up, and it's just like,
awesome.
But it was just like, they're kind of lame. Like backstory was cool, but I don't know.
You also had like 7-foot soldier.
But yeah, eventually I got like the key. I got like Bebop, Rocksteady. I had a Shredder. My sister got a Super Shredder, and I was just like, the fuck? She doesn't even play with action figures.
I don't even know what this is.
And she wouldn't, out of spite, she wouldn't let me play with it, and I was just so mad. I was like, I want the Super Shredder. My Shredder, again, all the felt clothes that came with them would instantly get lost in the bin.
That was the original Shredder.
Yeah,
came
so
with,
I had a topless Shredder the entire time I had Shredder for years. He was just this, like, he was like really skinny, but
he looked really
emaciated. Yeah. So interesting. I have all my Ninja Turtles figures still. Like, a lot of my figures are gone.
When I moved to college, my grandma just gave them away to the neighbors, and I lost it. I beat her up.
pushed her down the stairs.
Where's my Baxter the Fly? No, Jackie, I'm sorry. Who the hell with you? That's your birth to my parents, will you?
That's what I said.
It's weird if you would say that. But no, I still have them, and I remember at some point, my older brother... So I also had the Super Shredder figure, and the Super Shredder came with this kind of lame plastic cloak, if I'm remembering this right. But the original
Man, did
Shredder,
he look cool, though,
he
the
looked
Super
really,
Shredder
really
with all
cool.
the blades.
Yeah. But the original Shredder was kind of crappy. But
Yeah.
the only good thing about him was that like actual cloth cloak that he had.
I made him very, in my imagination, whatever you want, my head canon, whatever you want to call it. I made him very, very adept at martial arts because the way his sleek figure was, he seemed to be very good with like kicking and like ninja kicks. Like his
Wasn't
legs
he kind of like
extended.
hunched over?
He was,
too?
he was hunched over, yeah. But anyway, my brother took the, I don't know why, I'm pretty sure he did it because I wouldn't have done this. He put it on Super Shredder, and that is where it is to this day. So I have a Super Shredder in the old Shredder's robe.
Oh, the original.
And that was my Shredder
That's so
the
cool.
entire time. Ever since I got
so
that.
cool.
Yeah, so I don't even use the emaciated Shredder. That's like Shredder when he gets hit with like the disease ray or something.
The famous disease ray.
Yeah, we all know that episode of Ninja Turtles, it's famous disease ray.
It just gives him like advanced cancer.
That's one way to fight the Shredder.
I had a lot of multiple copies of the same turtle.
Yeah,
I had like a
that
Leonardo in a samurai outfit.
Right, well, they did a lot of different waves of the Turtles. There were like superhero versions of them. There were like vacation versions.
Did you now swap them out, or did you create additional personalities? Like I think I had like that Leo was like a parallel universe Leo, or as an alien that looked like Leo.
Well, you had your main, right? You'd have
Yeah,
like, this
you
is
had-
like my main Leo.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is my mutagen ones, those bulky ones, those were my main ones. I forget the backstory I gave those scrawny ones because I didn't really like playing with them.
They got
were
hit
just-
with the disease ray,
Yeah,
obviously.
they were withered down. They were just
Withered
skin
husks of
bones.
their former selves.
Rocksteady injected them with chemo.
As he always did on the
I don't know,
series.
did you guys primarily use the scrawny ones, the original Wave 1 ones?
I did, yeah. Those were definitely my go-tos.
Mine was kind of a hodgepodge, I think. It was kind of a mix of... I had like some of those vacation ones.
Yeah, I definitely had the Michelangelo, like, who had sunglasses, like, on, and you could not remove them.
Yeah.
And he came with, like, a little, like, flipper kicking thing, I think.
Man, they made so
put 'em in
many
the water.
fucking iterations, didn't they?
They
Just to
did.
get
It
them-
was just
get the
constant.
money. They just wanted the money.
Want that money. I mean, Ninja
Parents
Turtles-
must have been like, "You don't need vacation, Michelangelo." Are you
But I
kidding?
do. Apparently I
Michelangelo
do.
does not need a vacation.
I need a vacation from your father. I'm spending all my money on your damn toys.
Shut up, Dad. Then I beat him up. I threw him in the cellar at Grandma.
Yeah, really. You're very cruel to your parents. Your lineage is...
All my this is not just for my Ninja Turtles. My other big ones were like Batman, Jurassic Park, and Power Rangers. But all my action figures, again, because I threw them all in the bin, they were almost all of them were broken. So like Baxter the Fly always had one claw missing. He had these big arms extending out of his wings.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
He always was
Those
missing
were awesome.
one. A lot of my action figures were missing an arm or a leg, and they'd have like that white stump that was like the plastic piece
Yeah.
like the factory made attachment for the. So
Yeah.
almost all was this. Am I alone in this? Like all of my action figures were in rough shape.
Mine were pretty destroyed. All the accessories were like, you pretty much just opened the package and threw the
Yeah.
accessories away because like, don't get too attached to these.
Well, the important stuff, like Baxter's wings, I definitely like took very good care of that. I think eventually one of them broke, and I was very upset.
Oh.
But like the little things, like that throw 'em in the bin, go into the vortex.
None
Yeah,
of them.
mine.
Rocksteady, I was at one point when he was just his head. Like, it just,
Yeah, I just want to point out. So I have Wikipedia here next to me, and we're going to use that in case we run into a topic
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we
of
need to.
course.
This is clearly a topic we can talk about.
Well versed in.
But just for the sake of argument, I went to the Ninja Turtles action figures page. There's an entire page, and I
Just
just
for the
love
figures.
I love
I'm
that
surprised
they're
it doesn't have its own wiki.
I'm sure it does. But the first section is just called Getting Started. That's about 6 paragraphs long. That's followed by the overview paragraph, which is another like 3 or 4 paragraphs. And then it just goes from
I was
there.
about to say, what kind of nerd would spend time writing that article? But then I realized we
Yeah.
set up a studio in my living room to talk about this.
We
So
sure did.
I'm going to read the hell out of that article on the
You
subway
know
ride
what? I'm
home.
just going to save that for later. And just real quick, I did not know this existed. Apparently in 1995, they released Jim Lee's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Are you guys familiar with Jim Lee?
Oh, the
comic
comic
artist?
artist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he redesigned the Turtles, and they released
that must be
toys based
awesome.
on... I'm going to look it up. You
they're
guys
probably, they're probably
keep talking. I'm going to show a
probably
picture.
very muscular. I had at some point late in the game, and I always think in stages. Like when I was really little, I played with my action figures like crazy. Then you get a little older, and you're like a little too old for them. I actually held on to them way longer than my peers. Like I was still playing with my action figures. I think maybe into high school, definitely
Okay.
into junior high. And then at some point, I would only play in my head imaginary figures because I was like, I'm too old.
I can't actually touch them. Be in the same room.
Like basically,
fantasizing about.
You guys go over there.
No, basically in high school, I would say maybe even in college, but definitely in high school. Like if I was just like on the toilet, like pooping, and I had nothing to do, I would just picture like invisible. Like I had that was late stage where I came up with this whole backstory where Batman was dead and Robin had taken over as Batman, and once you start only in your mind and you're only doing imagination, now you have unlimited possibilities. So
of course.
So I turned Batman into Spider-Man. He had like his grappling hooks.
Now,
like
why
came
would you
out.
do that?
Well,
he's already got Spider-Man.
No, I made it so I was like, look, if I'm Batman and I have technology, I wouldn't have a grappling hook gas gun. I would have it literally come out of my wrist, like the wrist part of your suit.
Right.
So that's how. So I had him like web slinging.
I see.
Anyway.
He didn't actually have spider powers. He's like, now I'm the spider.
No. But he was web slinging, so to speak. And I was well into high school when I was like imagining Batman
working some of that stuff out.
Fighting the Penguin while I was on the toilet. Like they would like fight on the radiator.
I'm picturing you sitting on the toilet. Meanwhile, outside Batman is fighting the Penguin.
No, I would picture in the
missed
bathroom.
the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
They were always fought in gas plants and stuff like that because there was always a radiator that they were
on the toilet.
Yeah.
Or like the bathtub.
Oh no, here we are at the sewage treatment plant again, Batman.
Basically, those were the scenarios I worked up in my head. Couches were mountains. There was always a lot of mountain scenes.
I had this tape. I want to show you this picture of the Jim Lee Ninja Turtles in 2 seconds.
Yeah, of course.
But I always had a table not much unlike this table that we had, and I would always do a Beyonder Secret Wars type of thing with my Marvel and DC action figures. Just like I was a huge fan of the Marvel versus DC '90s miniseries that they did.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, and just I would relive
Access.
that with Access. Yeah, the man who walks in both universes.
Access. It's so lame. It's such a lame name, but fits. But lame.
Yeah. But anyway, I would always just like this table would be like the combatants arena basically, for lack of a better term, and like they would just fight. And it was always a tournament.
That's awesome though.
Carnage always won because I was a big Carnage
I always
fan.
came up with big movie storylines. I would have like a first act, second act, third act, and then I would wrap it up. And then when it ended, I would either move on to something else or I'd just start a new quote unquote movie
storyline.
I had like running storylines. I had my Bruce Wayne was like became mayor.
Yeah.
I had some like I said, Batman died. Although eventually there was some time travel. I brought him back.
Of course.
I always had like running storylines like that.
See, we had one of those this big plastic like WWF like wrestling ring thing.
Oh yeah.
And that was a godsend. I mean, you could do like so it pretty much became like all action figures like kind of acting out WWE storylines. Not actual storylines, but that kind of like style, like very soap opera-y.
I definitely did this too.
Fighting.
Yeah.
So that was that was kind of the hub for all action figure.
For whatever reason, like I said, I have all my Ninja Turtles figures. I think I still have my Ghostbusters figures too. But my mom, she claims she did not, but she got rid of all of my brother's WWF action figures.
Which also kind of sucked, by the way. I mean, they were kind of on the crappier side.
They were not great. And all of my like DC Marvel figures, they're all gone. And those are the things that each of us would have wanted the most.
What's funny is I'm thinking now is like all these involved storylines I did, and obviously I was a little bit older. I was probably like 10, 12 when I was doing this stuff, and it was mostly Batman, Jurassic Park. Now that I think about it, I didn't really do that with Ninja Turtles, and it was because now that I'm thinking about it, I really only played with them when I was young, and then even though I still had them, I don't think I would really use the Turtles themselves much after, say, 5th grade. Although the villains,
I'm with you on that.
The villains I used for everything, especially Power Rangers. I didn't have a lot of Power Ranger action figure villains, but I would always use the turtle ones. Like I had, again, that's one of the ones with Baxter. One of my very first ones was the orange Triceratops.
Oh yeah,
he was like this big muscular.
Triceratons, I think.
Yeah, he was like big and muscular.
Yeah,
and I used him, and he was one of the few figures because he was built well. I didn't really have. He wasn't broken.
They called him Shithouse.
So built. So I used him for all my other. He'd fight Batman. He'd fight. Yeah. But so now that I think about it, I didn't really use the actual turtles themselves, and I didn't really come up with turtle plot lines. I was too little.
I always kept the Turtles in their own kind of separate universe.
I wonder why that is, though.
I don't know. I guess because the DC and Marvel figures at least were similar size and weight.
Scale. Yeah.
The Turtles figures were not clunkier, but
they're
chunkier.
Yeah, they were chunky figures.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's why I would use them more as the villains to the Power Rangers that were big and menacing.
Right, no, it makes total sense. All
right, so this is, before you show this, Jim Lee, I gotta go into this. This is kind of creepy.
Please share with our listeners.
All right, first of all, I had the Ninja Turtle sewer system. That was my one big... My mom wasn't big into play sets because we didn't really have a lot of money. I remember I begged for the Technodrome, but it was It was like $40, which now I'd be like, oh, $40, give it to me. You know,
right.
Well, not now anymore.
I've actually looked on eBay in the past to be like, how much would it cost?
Well, all right, this is a little off topic, but me and you
much.
had this exact same conversation, and we ended up buying Titanus, the Ultrazord, on eBay when we were like 16.
Did we? Oh, we did.
No, was it Tour the Shuttle Zord?
It was Tour the Shuttle Zord.
Yeah, it was the Titanus of the
Where
Thunder.
is that? Is that gone?
You had it. You
No,
bought it.
I
Yeah,
didn't have
you
that.
You kept it. Yeah,
I still have all my Power Rangers
because you
Zords.
had an eBay account at like 16, and I didn't even know what eBay was.
Did we ever actually buy it?
We bought it, yeah. Didn't we?
I don't think so. Because, well, if we did, I don't have it.
I don't have
and
it.
I definitely have.
I had the
Megazord
Thunder
still.
Megazord, and that's why we bought it, so that we could make the Ultrazord.
Right.
And this is when we were juniors in high school, by
Yes,
the way,
this is-
sophomores. Yeah.
Not young.
Yeah. No. So anyway, I had the sewer set, and it was
Yeah.
I think it was pretty much the only big place that I ever had.
It was awesome.
So I had Casey Jones. Oh, Casey Jones was
Casey
one of that
Jones.
first
Casey
wave.
Jones, yes, he was. And the Foot Soldier was also.
Which
in
I
that
was.
first wave.
Now that I think about it, that was it because Michelangelo and Casey Jones were my only good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I used to play. It was Friday the 13th, basically. It was like a serial killer going around killing everybody.
Yeah.
I forget who it was originally. It might have been Shredder, but eventually I made it Casey Jones because he looked like Jason Voorhees.
Sure.
And I would just come up with these quote-unquote movies where I'd take 15 of my action figures, and he would kill them violently, one by one, until there was like a last girl standing, last boy standing.
So it really makes sense that you're abusing your grandmother and your
Yeah,
father.
right. No, and then I was, I was writing stories at the time, and a lot of the stories I wrote were based on my action figures. I used to write Jurassic Park stories, Batman stories. So I actually started writing a novel, in my Marvel notebook, called Bloodbath, and where I tried to give this guy backstory and stuff. But and my uncle found it one day, and he started reading. He was like, "What the fuck's going on?" And I showed the first 20 pages, 80 people were murdered violently.
And that was the first time you went to the Institute.
Well, the irony is my uncle's a fucking nutcase, but. No, so yeah, I had Casey Jones, and that's where the most use I got out of the Burn, the fat guy. He was always one of the first.
He was the first to go.
First to go.
He would get
Mid-sandwich bite.
Yeah, he'd get his gut slit open, and then to switch things up every once in a
You
while.
really hated your Burn action figure.
Every once in a while, to switch things up, he would be the hero. I'd always
Yeah.
randomly pick who's going to be the final girl, final boy standing.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it started getting more involved. I created this new running character. It was Egon from Ghostbusters.
Okay.
And he was a scientist hunting him down, and he had a laser gun that it would.
Why is a scientist hunting a serial killer?
Well, because the serial killer would die every quote unquote movie.
Okay, so he was a Jason. He really was like Jason Supernatural.
So he would come back. So the scientist came up with a laser gun. I think it was from one of my Aliens, Sigourney Weaver weapons. And if you could shoot him with this gun, it would transport him to hell temporarily. And that's
temporarily.
He has to come back.
Yeah, time limit.
So so then it would work.
Mr. Mixie-Spitlick in the Superman
So then
universe.
I would have Egon plus the final girl plus the final guy, and it was always random who would survive. So Wheeler was a big one because he was one from Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Because he was one of my only teenage action figures.
You had an action figure of Wheeler.
Wheeler, yeah.
Okay.
And Alan Grant.
Wheeler was the redhead, right?
Yeah.
Like the American guy? Okay.
Ripley was one of my few female ones, so she would be often one of the survivors.
Yeah.
Alan Grant would survive several times.
Okay.
But yeah, it would eventually come down to them and Egon. It became like this. Egon, they were like arch nemesis, Egon and this Casey Jones character.
The Secret Life of Egon. No one
But it
knew.
was so funny. I would just come up with these ways of him in the sewers, just killing and murdering. He had Shredder had this purple spear. He would spear them. He'd shoot them. It was really graphic, but I don't think it was in a disturbed way. I think I just had my imagination.
You
was
saw one too many Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
movies,
and I was desensitized, but I wasn't glorifying it. To me, it was just as whatever as a car chase.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, that was my Casey Jones.
So I know it's only our second episode. It's our second test episode B here. We've reached peak 90s already with the Jim Lee Ninja
Yeah, I gotta
Turtles
see this.
figures.
It doesn't get
This
any
is
more 90s.
the most 90s. I know it's a visual thing for an audio podcast, so
we'll
we'll
show
put
a
it someplace.
picture, yeah.
But here you go, guys. They are as 90s as can be.
Oh,
wow. Yep.
Swords,
Yep.
pouches,
See,
epaulets.
that's too buff for me.
everything.
That's too-
They're enormous. Their
That's
feet
not-
are tiny.
That's
This is
not
like
Ninja Turtles.
Rob Liefeld fell in a vat and turned into Leonardo.
That's not Ninja Turtles to me, and that's more like the new cartoon you were talking about. That's too serious.
There's
The
just
Ninja Turtles aren't serious. They're fun.
They seem to be cybernetic in places.
Like, look
at
Very
that-
Yep.
Look how
They all look like
mean-
Cable if
look
you're
how-
listening and not seeing the photo.
Look how
Yeah, it's
angry.
basically Cable as Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I think even Michelangelo's arm is a
His
cybernetic
robot,
arm.
Which means his arm must have gotten ripped off at some point.
Everyone was a little
Raphael's
cybernetic
legs.
in the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s. That's just how it happened.
But look how mean Donatello is. I can't picture a mean Donatello.
Also,
Yeah.
this is, I don't know why this bothers me so much, that Raphael has 2 R's.
Yeah, that's...
Like, in such close proximity, like railroad.
Also, look at that.
He's actually growling. He's going, "Arrgh!"
And he has a yellow R on his breast. That makes him look like Robin. It's
Right.
even the same font.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's the only one. Oh, no, they all have letters.
Yeah,
The
actually,
Shredder is
Leonardo
cool.
has it too.
Oh, he's got the double. Lul.
Yeah, they just look like the Wildcats and then
Scroll down. The Shredder looks
babies.
cool.
Well, this is...
Is that Jim Lee Shredder? Or is
No,
that
that's just regular old
alright.
Shredder.
That's a cool looking Shredder.
This is just some sort of forum for Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Nerds. We're not cool dudes like us.
I remember my cousins had a lot of turtles too, and they had the turtle van. Each one. They were 2 boys, so they
They
always
had 2 turtle vans.
So they got 2 of everything.
Okay. I had the turtle van, I will say.
The turtle van was really cool, and
pretty
it
awesome.
came with stink bombs. I don't know if you remember this. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
like these orange bombs, and it said stink bomb.
Yeah, but they weren't actual stink bombs.
Well, I would smell them, and they really, really smelled bad.
What were these kids doing?
So
Yeah. I think
had.
your cousins are pooping down the stink
That's what I
bombs.
said. So they were like, yeah, no, they're real stink bombs. And, when you're 10, 11, you're like, oh, that's really cool.
Really? Let me smell.
Yeah, so now
Those went in your cousin's butt.
Yeah.
I
Your
never,
cousins were exploring.
I never thought about it until just now. But there's one of 2
That
options.
solves that
Either it was in my head, or they totally stuck it up their butts. So
Yeah.
that
They
could
did. They 100%.
I don't know your cousins, but I'm assuming that they would do such a thing.
I'm gonna text my cousin right now.
Right now. Be like, did that stink bomb go in your butt? Yes or
It'd
no?
be great if your cousin who had this thing and made you smell these stink bombs was like a 35-year-old woman, just like sticking these Ninja Turtle stink bombs up her butt.
My cousin Ryan is 31 now. We're the same
Right,
age.
yeah.
All right, you guys talk. I'm gonna text him and see if we can get some more of this later.
Don't ask me why, but did you stick the stink
It's
bombs
very
up
important.
your butt? I need to know in the
Urgent.
next 29 minutes. Please get back to me. This is Jack, by the way. Yeah, I mean, they did so many of those. Do you guys remember they had a wave of Ninja Turtles that talked? But the way that they talked, they had like these really thin ribbons that you had to run through a speaker on their backs. It was so weird.
Still not totally sure how that works.
I don't really know either. I think it's the same principle as like Edison's wax cylinder. Like, it's just
It's like its own proprietary technology.
yeah. Now those, I mean, I saved a lot of the accessories and things, but those little ribbons, they were really, really thin and they were long. If they got bent, it would like really mess up what they said.
They
It
were
would be like
done.
It's like it's turtle time. It's just like, oh, Raphael's sick today.
I remember being very young, getting the remember they would sell like the little canisters of ooze.
Yes.
And they came with like a little glow in the dark plastic turtle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember like, and I hope I was very, very young for this, but like I remember thinking like, all right, so this is the ooze. I've got this little like unmutated turtle. Like,
Right.
What if? I'm just gonna leave this overnight. And I remember being like, part of me knowing like, oh, this nothing's gonna happen
Right.
like this, right? Like this is
secretly.
but maybe.
Yes.
Like being very excited, like going in the morning, like, oh, let's take, and
Yeah, it's just
lo
the
and
same.
behold, it had transformed into a real live Ninja Turtle.
And that's how the real Ninja Turtles
Right.
were formed,
And
everyone.
he protected me from bullies all through school.
He's your best
He
friend.
was a great friend. He was a great friend.
And now he's retired in Brussels.
Right, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had. I feel like the ooze for the turtles was very similar to they had Ghostbusters ooze,
Yeah.
which also had like little
Ectoplasm.
ghosts in it. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I never had the turtles playset, but I did have the Ghostbusters firehouse.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was awesome. I love that. That I don't have anymore. That we got rid of. But it had like a grate that went all through the firehouse. You could pour slime on it. And I did that once.
I was going to say, that's a one-time
It's a one-time
deal.
thing, because that stuff doesn't clean very easily, and it don't smell good.
No.
I mean, I didn't stick anything up my butt like Jack's cousins, but...
Well, I'm texting him right now, and he doesn't even remember the stink bombs.
Well,
so.
he wouldn't. What's it going to be like?
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sorry.
yeah, I used to stick those up my butt all the time.
And now I'm just sending like hundreds of texts to him, like trying to justify why I would ask such an offensive question. Like I'm just like, if you're listening to this, Ryan or Scott, I know you didn't stick it up your butts, and
I don't know that. I don't know you guys.
and I know that these texts seem really weird out of context now, but trust me, it makes
It'll
sense in
pay
the
off.
larger scheme of things. So please don't hate me.
Yeah. So what else do we want to say about Ninja Turtles action figures? I mean, I feel like we could talk for hours about action figures in general, but Do we want to do a new topic? Do we have more to say?
Yeah, let's pop up a new one.
All right, so here we go.
All right, what do we got left? 26 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock.
I have no idea what's going to come up. This is totally out of nowhere. Here we go. Our next topic, Chris Farley. Wow.
Okay. All right.
That's a gimme. That's a good one.
Kind of looks like my Burn action figure.
Well, he was always eating a sandwich.
See, again, Chris Farley's one of those broad ones I could talk hours about.
Yeah, we may have to. I don't know. 26 minutes is enough to talk
all right,
about
so
all.
let's come up with something specific. Why don't we zero in on something?
Why don't we just talk about his Saturday Night Live career?
Saturday Night Live career?
The Saturday Night Live skits of Chris Farley. They are legendary.
There's an outtake, I think. Or maybe it's not an outtake. Or maybe it's from a dress rehearsal. Maybe it's not. But I think it's on the Best of Chris Farley DVD.
Okay.
But it's Dennis Miller is doing Weekend Update, and he's interviewing via satellite Roseanne and Tom Arnold, and Chris is playing Tom Arnold, and he's like really high energy, and I guess they didn't realize, just like, who is this guy? He's very new to the show.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's new to the show, because Dennis Miller's still doing Weekend Update.
Right.
But anyway, his pants fall down and his butt crack is like sticking out, and Dennis Miller just goes, "Did I just see the new guy's asshole?" and like that, I just remember that moment, and it stuck with me because you could see the look on Dennis Miller's face where he was just like,
I've stared too close to the sun.
Or just like nobody saw Chris Farley coming. Like he was just the amount of energy plus his
and
physicality.
now, don't you wish we could see that asshole for just one more second?
Absolutely.
You know,
even if it was just his asshole.
It goes without saying. I think we're all really big Chris Farley fans, right? I mean,
yeah.
Of course,
I can speak for myself.
I mean, his movies had diminishing returns. But,
well, let's focus on.
Well, that's a separate argument.
Okay. So SNL, early '90s was peak Farley SNL, and peak SNL as far as I'm concerned. I think that's when it was.
Yeah.
Maybe not at its best, but
I'd say probably
certainly strong.
In his early run.
The Adam Sandler, Mike Myers, David Spade.
I'd say their earlier
Dana
run.
Carvey.
I don't know. I think I'm more partial to what Dana Carvey was on. I think because
Kevin Nealon.
He left pretty quickly. He wasn't really around for the Chris Farley Sandler era.
Was he just before Chris Farley?
Am I
mixing eras?
They might have overlapped, but it was
okay.
Yeah, Farley was. I mean. Dana Carvey was late 80s, early 90s, whereas Chris Farley was early
90s. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about our favorite skits from Chris Farley.
But also Sandler and Farley, there was that 95 season that a lot of people hate, although I think is really good.
Yeah.
Supposedly Farley and Sandler got fired from that season because that season wasn't doing so well. That's what I've heard.
That's not who they would fire in that case.
Because they weren't considered funny. Like they didn't become as fan favorites.
I don't know who your source is on this, but I don't think it's a good one.
I could look it up, but I wouldn't even know how to Google it.
Was Chris Farley fired for not being too funny? No, let's talk about our favorite skits.
I think I read about it in Live from New York, the book.
I don't know. Gabe, what's your favorite Chris Farley skit?
What's the one with the girls at the mall, like eating the French fries?
Oh, yeah, the Gap Girls. It was
Love the Gap Girls.
Spade
Always loved that.
Yeah.
Motivational speakers, great.
Matt Foley was probably my favorite. Is Matt Foley, written by Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Saul himself, Mr. Show.
Yeah, no, I love Matt Foley. It's hard. I don't think I can pick a favorite. The Chippendales is obviously really great.
Yeah. My favorite part of the Matt Foley skit is just watching David Spade trying so hard not to laugh. It's amazing.
So also watching Sandler not try to laugh. I loved when they did some really great sketches together. They did the one where it's like a commercial and Chris Farley is Adam Sandler's dad. And he's like trying to get Sandler to get some jobs. He's like. Please let me mow your lawn. I'll only do it for $10. Won't you let the boy mow your lawn? He says, for the love of God, just let him mow the lawn. And he's like, please let me sleep in your bed. It's like I won't mess up the sheets. He's gonna clean the sheets. It's not even gonna know he's there. But please don't let me clean the sheets. He's a busy boy. Don't make him clean the sheets.
Chris Farley just went to 11 so well. He was not a subtle person.
No, but he made it work. That's why he's
so
brilliant.
well. Yeah, I agree.
I could go to 11 and it would probably just drive people crazy.
But also, in addition, like Matt Foley, he's yelling, he's screaming, he's breaking things, he's falling. The Chippendale skit, also very, very famous. He's just moving around, shaking his hips, and getting naked and sexy for us. But he was also so great when he was the complete opposite, like the Chris Farley show skits, like when he's doing Paul McCartney. That's the total opposite. Right. He's just like this child.
That's so sweet.
When they said that Paul is dead, were you dead? No, I was alive. Stupid. Stupid.
When you're in the Beatles, was that fun? Yeah, Chris, it was.
Do you remember when you were in the Beatles?
Me and Nick were talking about, a friend of the show, Nick Noga, we're talking about how they did with Jeff Daniels, and it's weird because they did one with like Schwarzenegger, and they did with Paul McCartney. They did big stars, and then Jeff Daniels isn't really super big. So like they asked Jeff Daniels if about what was it? They asked him if he saw another movie that was starring like a co-star from his movie, and now he's just talking about like some random pop culture with Jeff Daniels. Now I forgot. I just lost it.
Okay.
It might have been. He's like, do you remember in that scene from Terminator or something like that?
Yeah.
And Jeff Daniels was like, yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. I mean, he was basically a giant child, Chris Farley, and that's what made him so good. And like a child, sometimes he was hyperactive, and sometimes he was quiet and reserved.
I'm very curious to know what his career would be like now. A lot of people know he recorded most of his lines for Shrek. Shrek was written for him, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if he'd have like a quiet, subdued, artsy thing going on.
Probably not for Shrek. No,
not for Shrek. But I could see him like I'm sad, sad indie movie.
To have seen like Chris Farley work with like Charlie Kaufman or something, or like, something like what Jim Carrey did in Eternal Sunshine, the equivalent for Chris Farley.
I think he could have done some dramatic acting. So I don't want to get into it because we don't really have that much time. But here's the headline from this article here. Adam Sandler still doesn't understand why he and Chris Farley were fired from SNL.
Really? So they actually were fired? Yeah. That's insane. I thought you were a dirty liar, my friend.
No, I don't think they were popular because after like Billy Madison and Tommy Boy came out.
But that was
right around that same time, though, isn't
Billy
it?
Madison came out in 93 and Happy Gilmore was 94.
Billy Madison didn't come out in 93. That came out in 95.
I was going to say 95.
Yeah. No, if it wasn't 93, it was 94.
Maybe 94.
Maybe
right 94.
Now. I'm looking right now.
That seems too...
Shut the fuck up.
95.
95?
Yeah, of course. Tommy Boy was also 95, wasn't it?
Really? Tommy Boy was definitely 95. I don't even have to look that up.
Yeah, no, the big ones in the early 90s were Coneheads and the two Wayne's World movies. And it's Pat.
That classic.
I don't think they're really only popular.
I'm shocked about this.
I
thought Billy Madison came out in 93.
Especially Sandler, I think he's only really popular with us, with our demographic. Kids who liked his silly humor. People older than us didn't really care for him at the time, and people younger than us really only know him from his shitty movies now.
I don't agree that's why. Well, first of all, I don't really like.
What I'm saying is, I don't think they were well liked on the show, except by the 12-year-olds watching.
But now that we're talking about Adam Sandler, like I do think he has a core audience that's younger than us, that like his, or at least see his like bad movies. Like they're the ones seeing Jack and Jill.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
his movies are not doing so well lately, right?
Lately, yeah, but like Pixels didn't do very well.
Yeah, I mean Pixels I don't count as an Adam Sandler movie. That's a Chris Columbus.
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
But maybe I'm just not remembering it right. But I feel like he didn't have a giant presence on SNL. Like he would kind of pop up. Sandler, he would kind of pop up on like the Weekend Update things. Whereas Farley was, I feel like, definitely like key core cast.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sandler was not like a also ran, but you're right. Farley was much bigger.
He didn't have many recurring characters.
Right.
Like he would do like Cantina
Boy at Opera Man.
Yeah.
Most of his sketches were with Farley. Although the Denise Show was great.
Right.
The Denise Show.
I liked him and Farley as they were the married couple, and they're just
the Zagat's Guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, Lord, give me cancer, strike me down right
now.
And again, Chris Farley's was just so fun to watch. How him playing that woman, like that happy, obese middle-aged wife. It was so great.
Yeah. Did you guys see? I think there was a documentary that came out, right? I Am Chris Farley.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I heard good things.
I didn't see it either. And if we didn't see it, did anyone see it? Because
I heard
we're fans.
Should we? How much time do we? Should we watch it right now?
Yeah, 10 minutes. Let's throw it on. Well, that was great.
I just typed I Am Christ Farley, which is very, very different. Yeah, it came out earlier this year. It's called I Am Chris Farley. Produced by his brother, Kevin Farley. Star of N Together. Everyone remember? Was that what it's called? No, Together.
Oh, yeah, his brother, yeah.
The MTV, the boy band parody
Wait,
thing.
that was... Oh, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah, that's Chris Farley's brother, Kevin Farley. Not QT or 2Q or whatever his name was.
No, supposedly, I'm just trying to get a gist from this article, and supposedly it was they really wanted the season was bad, the ratings were low, and they just kind of wanted to start fresh because after that season, after they fired Sandler and Farley, was the brand new cast of Will Ferrell and
those guys.
The only holdovers were Meadows, David Spade, Norm Macdonald. And then Molly Shannon and Mark McKinney, who were more of the new cast, they were actually on briefly in that 95 season.
And 95 also had Michael McKean was on, and Janine Garofalo was briefly on. Jay
Chris
Moore
Elliott
was briefly on. Chris
I
Elliott.
love that season. The ratings were abysmal, and it's famous for being the bad season. They make fun of it in later seasons.
I think 1980 to 1985 is also. Well, we had
most of my favorite sketches come from that. I mean, maybe it's because I was 11 years old and that was the time. Like that has L.A. Breast and Penis.
Yeah.
That has
the only one I really remember
is Penis Beauty Cream.
The only one I remember is stamped not penis cream on the outside when you get the wrapper. No, I remember a skit from that 95 season where John Travolta was the host and he was Dracula and everyone just thought he was gay.
Yeah. He's like, no, I'm Dracula.
What? I'm not. Why do you think that? That's a good one.
Should we try a new topic?
Well, we could continue talking about Chris Farley and talk about his movies or stuff. All right, fuck it, let's not. We'll do a new topic. Okay, so here we go. New topic. The Star Wars special editions. Let's save that because we only have 15 minutes to go, and I think we can talk for a long time about that. So here we go. JNCO Jeans.
I don't know what those are.
You don't know what JNCOs were?
They are those.
They were those huge
jeans.
This was like 97, 98-ish,
I'll bring
maybe
up a
later.
picture.
I don't know.
On Wikipedia.
They're big jeans.
They were kind of like.
You know this logo, right? They had big pockets and
they were just like
I
really
know that
wide
generic
legs.
like graffiti font. That logo doesn't ring a bell.
They were really wide legs. So
they were kind of like stoner jeans a little bit, like
ultra wide straight legged denim jeans.
I was not really fashion conscious at the time.
These were not either. Even at the time, it was kind of like not like a. It was like 7th grade, like kind of like sort of the skater crowd a little bit.
Yeah, I'll drop you some knowledge from Wikipedia about JNCO Jeans. So here we go.
Some education.
Sold mainly in urban specialty stores, very popular among the hip-hop, skater, hardcore, and raver subcultures of the 90s.
It's a broad swath of
It is. It's quite a lot. Variety of styles, ultra-wide jeans with leg openings greater than 50 inches. That is a large
They're
leg
huge.
opening.
Yeah, they look like...
It's like wearing some sort of tent.
Is that the Fly? Is it for giant penises?
Yep, that's what it was. They peaked in sale in 1998.
Okay.
So there you go.
I just read an article.
Apparently they're still around.
I was just reading something. They just brought them back and
Yeah, like
they
last
sold
month.
out like very recently.
Really? Yeah, I know.
So get them while they're hot, guys.
Well, I read that denim might actually be in danger of finally going out of style. Now, I don't agree with this, but this is taking it to the extreme level. Basically, the important demographic is the 18 to 25. They're the ones that everybody caters to, and they have kind of stopped wearing denim. Like yoga pants and tights and spandex are big, especially with the girls, obviously.
That's true, yeah.
But that seems to be becoming more like for us, jeans are the
right. They're the default
standard, the default
casual wear.
That's the default. So apparently, jeans are falling out of that default status, and because
that makes sense with women.
And that
you don't see a lot of guys in yoga pants.
No, I don't know,
Yes.
but
I gotta buy
but
my
I don't
yoga
think
pants.
they're wearing. At least this is what this article was saying was that they're not wearing jeans as much, and because they're the 18 to 25, as they get older, and this post-millennial generation becomes what everything is catered towards.
Mm-hmm.
Basically how we were saying, I think on the Simpsons podcast, we were saying somewhere where advertising is going to be more in emoji because that's how the majority of younger people speak. So anyway, fashion is going to start to be dictated by their taste, so that there's a chance that denim will become harder to come by in stores like. So there's going to be like the Gap and Banana Republic, these big stores. You won't be able to just go and get jeans. They won't have a wall of jeans.
Yeah.
Like you go to Old Navy now. And
Yeah, there's
walls
just
of jeans.
an entire section.
It's going to become
jeans.
more of a specialty item and therefore also more expensive. So there's this danger of denim becoming finally like not the default.
Those millennials.
Just
Those kids.
everything.
Playing with their
With your non-traditional
what
television.
action? Do they play with action figures or they just play with apps?
I have no idea. Do kids play with action figures
They
these
must.
days?
They must.
I mean, I'm looking
I don't
around
know.
as if one of you is going to give me an
I don't know.
answer.
I'm thinking the only little kids I see are on the subway and they were all playing with apps, but I guess you don't really play with action figures on the subway.
Well, because like I was saying before, I would have my superhero characters like fight in big tournaments. You could just get Marvel has the Contest of Champions app, and like you would just play with that, and that's what you would do.
It makes
You'd
sense.
buy new downloadable characters.
It makes
Right.
sense, not just playing it. I feel like more and more things are coming out of the smartphone, so maybe they're action figures.
It's
I don't know.
interesting.
That feels like two old man yelling at cloud.
I actually think the action figure market is now catering more toward. They're catering to us because we still like
Yeah, it's
action
like
figures.
old grown-up nerds.
Yeah, like I have some action figures.
Yeah.
Like my desk at work, I have had for as long as I've been a working professional, a zombie Captain America that sits on my desk.
See, my problem is I don't go to toy stores anymore, so the only action figures I see are in pharmacies and Dwayne Reed. They have like
Right.
a toy aisle, and it's always just like cheap rip-off action figures.
Well, I mean, like comic book stores and
Yeah.
like specialty store like Spencer's, they all have
Yeah.
like the adult
Right.
action
But
figures.
those are collectibles. They're not.
Oh, are they, Dr. Nerdstein?
I'm saying.
Those are my collectibles.
I'm saying they're not really meant to be smashed against each other.
I know,
They're
I know.
meant to like accrue value.
They're meant to sit there and be the objet d'art.
Not thrown in a Tupperware bin.
Right.
That has like spiders and crumbs in the bottom and pennies.
Actual spiders? Is that where you stored your
I used
spiders?
I would used to find bugs in there and I would freak out.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Todd McFarlane. Speaking of '90s things,
Oh,
Todd
geez.
McFarlane, like
Another
he
very
has the
90s.
toy. You know, his toys are not like action figures in the way that we think of them. They very much are cheaper than like buying a statue, which they also sell. If you want like a Spider-Man statue, you could get those. For
I
like
do want that.
$300-$400. I want that too, but like buy a nice action figure instead. It's a cheaper way to get the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I've become somewhat of a minimalist in my life where I just don't want junk. Like I don't want shit in my apartment.
I agree with
And
you.
I feel like that's why I'm not really somebody who collects a lot of things. I've kind of, as much as I love action figures, I think I'm done with them. Maybe I'd get one of those for like a desk if I had an office one
Yeah,
day.
it's pretty much just stuff for your desk. Like,
Yeah.
I have one of those Funko Pop things. You guys...
Funko Pop.
What's
Oh, you guys don't even know it? Oh, man,
No.
I'm a big
I've heard of
nerd.
funk and I've heard of
Funko
pop.
Pop?
Funko Pop.
Is it a food?
Is it a type of jeans?
All right, we're going to play a game called Guess What Funko Pop Is.
Okay.
You guys go.
All right, 20 questions. 20 questions.
20 questions.
Yes or no, Gabe?
Is this something that other people know about?
Yes.
Okay. Funko Pop. All right. So is it action figure related?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it? Did we ask this already? Is it food?
No, it is not
Did
food.
you ask this one? What's the third question?
What? Like out of competition? Did we ask?
All non-competition questions have been erased.
Is it from the 90s?
No.
It's new.
That's 2 questions, but yes.
Can you hold it in your hand?
Yes.
Is it candy?
No,
No,
it's not
food.
Oh yeah, that's a food.
I don't even know how I'm going to explain. Like, you're gonna
Funko Pop.
Now that I think about it, like, there's no possible way for you to win this game.
Is it Albert Einstein?
Yup, it's Albert Einstein.
Oh man, so it's action figure related. Is it a company?
It's a company. All right.
Is it like branded? Is it like this is my Spider-Man Funko Bomb? Funko Pop?
Is it called Funko Pop?
You guys, there's no possible way for you to win this yes or no question guessing game.
Yeah, so instead of guessing
Wait.
content,
Do an impression of a Funko Pop right now. Just like
make
a face.
Embody. No, do audio.
There's no audio. It's a little figure.
So it's a type of figure.
It's
like,
a type
like
of
bobblehead.
figure. It's like a figurine. Yes, it's the figures with the big heads and the black eyes.
Oh,
You
those are
have
called
to have seen
Funko
them.
Pops?
Yeah, they're called Funko Pop figures.
Sounds-
That's
is
like
it
the
Japanese?
style.
Is that what it
I
is?
have no idea if it's Japanese or not. We could
I
look it
have
up.
never heard them called a Funko Pop
No,
before.
They're called
I've
Funko
only
Pops.
started being
People go crazy
aware.
collecting those.
I've only started being aware of those things in like the last 6 months or so.
Oh no, they're everywhere though.
Yeah.
They're
at least
everywhere.
Funko.
Yeah. Well, no, I remember. So my girlfriend got me one of those Nerd of the Month care package things for Valentine's Day, where every month they just send you a random assortment of nerd things.
Yeah.
And we discontinued it after 1 month because it wasn't the nerd stuff I was expecting.
It wasn't your nerd.
It wasn't my nerd, and it was mostly that kind of stuff. I was like, the fuck, I don't want to fucking.
Those are super popular.
Yeah,
they have them
they're
for
ugly.
everything.
I don't think
was
they're
just-
aesthetically pleasing. I think
I
they're
was
ugly.
I didn't like them. As I was saying, the
What is your Funko Pop?
only one that I have is Job from Arrested Development. He's on my desk at work.
That's kind of cool.
He's holding cards and going like this.
And he has big eyes. He has a big head.
You know what they look like, right?
Sort of, yeah. I don't find them
I
visually
find
appealing.
myself when I see them though, it's like I have to kind of look really closely because they all kind of look the same. It's like this is probably like a Game of Thrones character. Like who the fuck is this?
It can be tough because
I've seen these in Barnes and Noble.
if they're not like an iconic superhero or someone who has very distinctive
Like I would
clothes,
probably get Job from that if I were just looking at that. It's like okay, that's I know what that is, but a lot of them it's like okay.
I mean, I know.
it just looks like they had. I was at the comic book store recently and they had Crimson Peak Funko Pop toys.
That's ridiculous.
And I saw Crimson Peak. I have no interest in one of them, but it's like
that's too specific.
Do you want Mio Wasikowska's character from Crimson
No.
Peak? It just looks like a pale woman.
And people collect them. I
People-
can't get on
people
board
go
with
crazy
that.
for
I don't
them.
know.
Yeah.
It's the hot new thing, Jack. You've got to get into this before you get left behind.
I'm not into big heads now that I think about it. I don't like bobbleheads.
Not into big heads.
Yeah, I'm not into bobbleheads. I didn't like big head mode in NBA Jam.
That's why you like those weird transforming Ninja Turtles with because they had teeny tiny heads.
I'm pro shrunken head, I think.
When you were playing NBA Jam, someone would be like, "This is gonna be fun. Let's turn on big head mode," and you would just be like, "No,
Well,
I don't like this."
Well, I know this is counter to
I
a
want
lot
to play
of.
as Godzilla.
I know this is counter to a lot of interactions me and you have had playing video games where I would literally do that. No, I'm not playing this. But no, most of the time I would be fine with big head mode. I just preferred. I was like,
You prefer regular
I
head
liked
mode.
how realistic.
Also known as normal.
I liked how photorealistic NBA Jam was. That was
Right.
part of the charm. The big head. I didn't care for the big head. Plus, it's a small court. I need that space.
That's
No,
fair.
and
You
I don't
need to see.
I never
for a
liked
16-bit.
bobbleheads. I won about a year ago actually. Me and my co-writer Frank won the LA Sports Film Festival. We won the one best screenplay, and the trophy was in bobblehead form.
Nice.
It was
And
only,
you said, I don't want that.
I threw it out
Keep your shitty awards. I'll bobble my own head.
Well, it's not in here. It's not in the studio.
It's not here. You're
I
right.
let Frank have it. I don't find them visually aesthetically pleasing.
Well, that's racist.
Your anti-bobbler agenda is not going to seep into this podcast, Pacone.
I like tiny heads. What can I say?
Tiny heads, big bodies. That's what you're looking for
I hate
in your toys.
I refuse to
your
get my
women.
car fixed at Pet Boys.
Yeah, don't scratch up their heads. I'm surprised you guys weren't very familiar with the Funko Pops.
I've read
Yeah,
it.
I
I've
guess
never
it's
heard
just-
them called Funko Pops.
To be fair, it says pop right on the thing.
So here's a question. So Funko Pop is the brand. Is that the only brand, or there's several knockoffs of that style now? Is it become like Jello to gelatin?
No, I don't think there's that many knockoffs.
You would
I'm
think
sure
another
they're pretty.
company would just be like, hey, we're also making big head dolls of action figures.
I don't know, but I would
imagine.
imagine that they have a trademark in the general style of that big head,
How do you
big
trademark
eyes. Yeah, you could get there.
It's like, it's the figure, but it's bigger. And
It's the style of the figure because it's a very distinctive, non-realistic style.
But like Gabe was saying, they're so generic, like it would be hard to tell them apart if they don't have identifying marks.
Yeah.
I feel like you could come up with a style that's similar but different enough, and you probably at first glance wouldn't even notice.
What are you going to name your Funko Pop?
So I'm
knockoff
going to
line?
create my own Funko Pop line.
Okay.
I'm going to call it.
With tiny heads.
I'm gonna go with tiny heads.
Tiny heads and giant mouths
Yeah,
instead of the big eyes.
I'm gonna call it Punko Fop.
And they're all foppish dandies.
They're all foppish punks.
from the 1800s.
They're foppish 80s British punks, oi punks.
It's okay, so it's like straight out of A Clockwork Orange, like that kind of like gangs that dress foppishly.
But it's not that's the style, but the characters can be from Crimson Peak or
right.
there's-
Well, Crimson Peak makes sense. 'cause
Just
that
only
was,
Crimson.
there's presidential nominees.
Yeah.
You got a Hillary Clinton in like a leather jacket. With
yeah, get your Ben Carson Punko Fop. What does he come with? The malaise of the
pyramids
country?
filled with grain.
His acceptance letter to West Point.
This is all very relevant right now when we're recording.
When we're
It's
recording,
probably not when this
but
comes out.
well, you think it would be. This presumably will come out in 2016 when we really should be talking about presidential
I'm hoping
races.
Ben Carson is not part of the conversation
Oh,
by
I
the time
hope he
this airs.
is.
It's November 2015 at this point. And we've been talking. I'm already sick of them talking about the political, like the elections, the presidential election.
It's funny
It's
how
been over a year.
It's funny how you make the joke the day after election day. Oh, time to talk about the next election
Yeah.
cycle, but it really does happen pretty much right away.
Right.
Man, so this is super dated because we're recording this in November, and God knows when this comes out.
Yeah.
But I went to go vote the other day, and it's not a midterm election. It's not a big election.
Did I miss voting
I
day?
totally
again?
missed it, yeah.
Oh well.
So I vote every year.
Look at you.
I'm
a responsible
we have 2 minutes and 32 seconds left on the clock, so I can't go into why people who are apathetic about voting are wrong, even though there's a lot of good reasons for why it doesn't matter. But anyway, so I go to vote. It's New York City election. It's not a midterm. It's not a full term. So I go. There's only 3 elections. 2 were for something, I forget what, like, obscure
dog catcher and
stuff like that, yeah. And it was
secondary dog catcher.
I think they all had 2 candidates, the Democrat or Republican. They didn't really have many options. But the first one, the big one, is we had to pick 5 Supreme Court judges, and it says pick any 5. Usually you pick 5 out of the pool. Mm-hmm. The pool is 5.
Oh,
so
okay.
technically,
so they've all won.
They're all running uncontested, which is weird to say when there's 5 of them in the race.
Right.
But it's just like, so I'm really against those kinds of people who say voting doesn't matter. There's no point. But I was like there, and I was like, man, I came all the way to the school out of my way to just check off 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still like to do it. Long story short, I like to vote for third-party candidates, even if I don't agree with their politics.
So you just throw your vote away.
So I like to let the system know that, like, hey, I'm still watching. I'm watching, and who knows, maybe the third party gets that 5% and does well enough that they can one day steamroll into the Republicans were a third party.
We're going to have a long political conversation when we're not talking about JNCO Jeans. So I think we're done with JNCO Jeans.
Well, we've got a minute and 6 seconds left on the clock, so we don't really have time for a new topic. So
we're gonna buy you a pair of JNCO Jeans in this time.
You're gonna look great, Jack.
Oh wait, so JNCO Jeans is not the same as Funko Pop.
No,
they're
completely
separate.
Completely different.
I don't remember them at all.
JNCO Jeans had big feet, where Funko Pop had big heads.
Well, you know what they say about people with big heads?
Big hats.
They're big. I was gonna say they're Funko Pop toys.
I feel like in 30 years from now, someone will be doing like the 2015 percentile, 2016 percentile. They'll be like, remember Funko Pops? Those or something.
Technically, you can't go over 100 percentile by definition.
They're doing 2016.
I know this is this is just our second test show ever.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that one day there will be Funko Pops of us, and you too, Gabe.
All right, well, thanks.
Legendary 90s percentile guest, Gabe.
Now, here's the question:
Gabe Pulliam.
What iconic dress would
all right,
be on your Funko Pop?
10 seconds left. My iconic dress, I guess, would be a white t-shirt and jeans. Gabe, 5 seconds. What's your Funko Pop?
Oh, gosh. Maybe just like a towel.
Time's up.
Time is up. Great. So we had a great conversation today. Guys, what have we learned today?
Let's start with our guest. Gabe, what have we learned today?
I've learned that everyone else was a lot better at keeping track of their Ninja Turtles than I was, apparently.
Oh, me neither.
Jack, what have you learned?
I've learned sort of what JNCO jeans are, but I'm still a little unclear. Is it JNCO? Am I saying
JNCO,
right?
yeah. JNKO, or CO.
I still don't quite understand what they are, but
right.
I've sort of learned what they are today.
Fair enough.
Dan, what have you learned today?
I learned that Leonardo the Ninja Turtle is real. He is Gabe's friend, and he is now vacationing in Brussels.
Came to life one day.
He's now in Brussels, where he leads a quiet life. So, well done.
That's
Creator of Funko Pops, actually. Not many people know this.
The big Brussels company. Again, this is our test show. This is the time of show. We'd probably tell you what website to go to and all that jazz. We don't really have that set up yet, so maybe we'll tag something on at the end of this. Again, this is a test show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for bearing with us. I guess we should give our Twitter handles. Dan?
I'm at Then Dan Says.
Gabe? Oh, you don't have Twitter. So never. I'm sorry.
But he's got Snapchat.
So mine's at Jackie No Breaks, and let's see. Maybe this is going to be our catchphrase. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see you in another
decade. I almost said we'll see you in a new millennium.
Well, that too.
Presumably.
That doesn't work.
It sort of works. The 90s was a different millennium.
All right, that's all right.
All right, so let's do it all together. We'll see you in another
decade.